On today's video, we're going to go over the 4 stages of owning an auto repair shop, and let's see where you fit in. Hi, my name is Ron Ipach. Thanks for watching the channel. Now, as I mentioned, there are 4 stages of owning an auto repair shop, and the first one is the startup phase. Now, that's typically the first year of owning an auto repair shop, and during this time, your focus is going to be much different than the other phases of owning the shop. You're working on your business plan. You're trying to figure out how many cars you need to get in the door, what your pricing needs to be, how do you turn a profit with your business. Maybe you're out looking for funding because, as you probably already know, when you start a business, it takes a little bit of time and money, and if you want to cut down the time to grow, you need to add a little bit of money and maybe buy a little bit of speed there. So if you've got some funding, great, because you need to get customers. You're working on a customer base, and that's going to cost some money. You can hang the shingle out and hopefully people find you, or you can invest in advertising. And of course, I'm going to recommend that you do invest in advertising because that's the way to build the business the right way. Now, at this point, if you're a technician turned owner, you're going to be out back turning wrenches. You're probably going to be answering phones. You're going to be doing a lot of work in the business that's going to keep you very, very, very busy. And speaking of busy, let's talk about that work-life balance. Forget about it. You are not going to have any work-life balance. Hopefully, you've surrounded yourself with people that understand that you're pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into this business, and you're just not going to have time for other people. It takes time and it takes a lot of effort to build a good quality business. And I believe this is probably the reason why most businesses go out of business within the first year, because the owner is not willing to pour everything he has into that business. So that's the startup phase. After that, then we go to the growth phase. The growth phase, when we talk about that work-life balance, since we just talked about that, forget about it, okay? You're still building a business, and you have to be willing to pour a lot of time into the business. Now, it's okay to take maybe a day off here or there or plan a week vacation. You're probably going to need it, but you cannot be looking at detaching yourself from your business if you're in the growth phase, because it takes a lot of work. Look, if this was easy, everybody'd be doing it. Everybody be successful at it, but they're just simply not. So you have to be willing to still work really, really hard. Work like a dog in order to build that business. So in the growth phase, you're now looking at growing the revenue, growing the sales, growing the profits of the business. You're no longer a startup. Now you have a little bit more of an established business. Now you need to start growing and growing and growing. And along with that is you have to grow that customer list. Now we have a little bit of a base from when we started the business in the growth phase. Now what we need to be doing is we need to be investing still in getting more new customers in the door, as well as getting those customers you already have, getting them back in the door. So it's probably maybe a 50-50 split. You're trying to get half your customers, new customers walking in the door, and half returning customers. And that's how you keep building that list higher and higher and higher. Remember, we're trying to build revenue at this point. We're also looking at hiring more technicians. The more work that comes in the door, the more work we need to get done. And at the same time, because you're working on growing the business, you need to be spending less and less and less time turning wrenches or selling services yourself. Okay, it takes a lot of work to build a business. You can't be spending time working in the business. At this point, you need to be working on the business in order to be able to grow it. And a lot of times, you're not going to be taking home the kind of money that you really hoped you would at this point, because depending on how much funding you got up front, you may be investing a lot of your profits back into the business. So be prepared to take a little bit lower salary, again, because we're investing in the business to grow it. Now, once you've gotten out of the growth phase, now we get into where it's actually fun and enjoyable to own a business. This is the mature phase. The mature phase is where you're trying to get more out of what you already have. Okay, so when it comes to your customer list, You don't have to go and get new customers. Your focus is just keeping your customers, the people that already know, love, and trust you, keeping them coming back again and again and again. You're building strong relationship with your clientele, and that's where the new business comes from, because you're going to get a lot of referrals from that. You're going to have a lot of people leaving reviews. A lot of people see the reviews. Happy customers bring in more new customers. So that's where your focus is on the marketing. And the great thing about that is you're not investing a lot of money in marketing anymore. So guess what? You get to keep that money. So your profits start to grow. You're spending less. You still have the business coming in. You get to put that money into your pockets. Now, this is where you also want to be focusing a lot of your attention on systematizing. You don't want to be reinventing that wheel over and over and over, right? And if you have a business that is running smoothly and you have systems in place, you're going to free up a lot more of your time. So when it comes to that work-life balance, hey, we get to enjoy life a little bit more. We got more money to do it, and we have more time. Now, if you're in the mature phase, this is where you might think about diversifying a little bit, maybe adding on a couple more bays to your shop, or maybe even looking at buying another shop and just growing the business from there, because you've got the time now, you've certainly got the money, and if you've systematized it right, you just install that system in your next business and you grow again from there. Now, after you've enjoyed owning a business and you're getting a little bit more mature, you might now be entering into the fourth phase, which is the selling phase. This is where you get to sell the business to the next entrepreneur that comes along, and then talk about work-life balance. It's all fun from here, right? If you've done it right. So if you're thinking about selling your business, your focus is now working on 100% detaching yourself from that business. Because what we want to do is we want to be able to sell a business that doesn't require you to be there at all. The less time you have to spend at the shop, the more valuable that business is to the potential buyer. The new buyer doesn't want to buy a job. They want to buy an investment. And if you're there working 40 hours a week and you're gone, guess what? They have to come in and replace you in those 40 hours a week. And it's going to make the business less valuable. And speaking of making the business valuable, this is where you really have to start sharpening the pencil and really working on your financials. Work on profitability. You should be getting the most out of everything you have with your business, and you should be able to show it on paper. Because when a prospective new owner is going to be looking at your books, you should have good quality information there and something that's going to really get them excited about buying your business. If you're going to sell your business, you have to run it like you're going to sell it. But a lot of people miss this. They are still in the growth phase when it comes time to end their career as an auto repair shop owner. But the business isn't ready to sell. It doesn't have the systems in place. It doesn't have the people in place. You haven't maximized everything that you have about that business. And if you're still in the growth phase, remember, your profits aren't as high as they need to be. If you're still in the growth phase, you better very, very quickly work on everything to get your business into the mature phase so that you can ease into the sales phase. It's one after another after another. You can't jump over. So I'm curious, what phase are you in your business? Drop me a line below. And hey, while you're down there, why don't you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, because it really, really helps the channel. Now, coming up in future videos, I'll be breaking down each one of these 4 stages and diving really deep into everything you need to be focusing on in order to be able to grow, maintain, and then finally reap the rewards of owning an auto repair shop. I'll see you soon.